GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Sheen Lac Specialty Coatings, always shining Sheen Lac.
Govi, a vernacular edutech brand, skilling everyone everywhere.
Hello, Junaid. Welcome to Galatta Plus.
Hello, thanad you so much for having me.
You know, I have to begin this very, very cheesy question because it's been haunting me. When you signed this film, Maharaj for Netflix, did your dad sing Papa Kehte Hain Bada Naam Karega?
Did he? No, he didn't say.
So I'm just like, I had to get it out of my system because it was this whole song that defined a generation about what will the sun do. And the sun has finally found its calling and in the same field. What does it feel like, you know, to be in the same field which you kind of earlier did not want to be in because you were going after economics and other things?
Well, I mean, I've been doing theatre for a while now.
Right.
It wasn't like I didn't want to be in the field. I think I was studying economics when I was 16, 17, 18. After that, I assisted Raju sir on PK for 2 years. Then I kind of made the pivot to stage. I went to America. I studied theatre for a couple of years. I was with my school's repertory for a year. I came back in 2007. So I've been acting for a bit. Not a very long time, but for a bit. So yeah, and like I really liked this film. It came my way. I didn't see any reason not to do it.
But I think one thing that you've been asked constantly, and I'd like to pick on that a bit, is Maharaj is not your typical star launch film in the sense of, you know, most people that are launched, they, you know, it's either a romance or an action film, and that's been the tradition for the longest time. Do these things not matter anymore? Like in what kind of film? And the other very interesting thing about it is it's not a big screen film. It's an OTT film. So yes, I know it's Yash Raj. I know that there's a big director, all Siddharth Malhotra, all that is there. But the presentation of a new actor who's a star son, that's new. So I was like, was that a calculated move, or was it just something that happened and you didn't think too much about it?
It was just something that happened, largely. I don't think it was ever. I don't think that's ever a thing, romance or action. Personally, I never thought it was a thing. Like, I feel the story is inherently very dramatic. It's actually a fairly mainstream film in that sense. It's not. It's not niche or art cinema. It's a fairly mainstream film. Yash Raj is one of the biggest producers in the country today. I didn't think at that point it was an odd choice, but I guess I didn't think so much about it.
Not odd. What I mean is it's not the usual. That's what I meant. It's just like a, you know, something that one kind of thing. And I was reminded of how your father, he could have gotten the biggest of launches, but he chose to, you know, his first adult role was in Ketan Mehta's Holi, which again was not your typical, you know, like at that point when people were getting launched, it was like, you know, Kumar Gaurav was doing Love Story and Sunny Deol was doing Betab, and these were calculated movies meant to present the hero in a certain way. That's, I guess, what I'm trying to say, because, you know, there's, oh, look, this guy can sing, he can dance, he can romance, he can ride a horse, he can sword fight, he can, I don't know, do all these things. So, you know, this is more like you're dropped in a universe and you play the part, and, you know, that's pretty much like a regular actor.
Yeah. No, and like, I think at least at this stage in my career, I should be trying to play to my strengths. And also in that sense, Maharaj, I felt was a good part for me because, I mean, it was pushing the boundary a little bit, but it was something that I felt was showing me in the best possible way, if you know what I mean. I don't think I would be very good in an action film or a dance film, but who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we will get some of those parts in the future as well.
You said that this film played to your strengths. What are these strengths?
No, what I meant by that was it's a character that would probably, like, I'm big, I'm tall, but I'm awkward. So movement things don't really work out for me, action, dance. I haven't been able to yet properly turn my height and size into an advantage. I look awkward. Things like that. I'm fairly good with dialogue.
Yeah, and there's a lot of it in this film.
There's a lot of it in this film.
Yeah.
Like even on stage, most of my directors have always felt I've been good with like big pieces of dialogue. So it kind of generally I felt it was a part. It was a bit of a stretch. There were lots of things that were, a lot of things were things that need to be worked on and bit of a reach, bits of reaches. But I think by and large, I felt at that point it was a good film for me to do.
You know, like when you took the jump from, economics to theater and you studied in Los Angeles and all that, you studied drama there. When you took that leap, at the back of your mind, was there ever the point that you are going to be compared to your father? Because even recently, when Variety wrote about the success of Maharaj, and it's been doing very good numbers for Netflix, is what the article said.
I believe so.
It said Indian superstar Amir Khan's son, Junaid Khan. That's how they prefixed the thing. So was that the potential of that comparison? Did that ever stay in your mind, or did that bother you?
Well, I think that's a reality that we can't do anything about.
Right. You cannot do anything about it, but
Yeah.
dealing with it is a little different from being aware of it, right? So
Yeah, I don't think that was something that was playing on my mind so much. Especially like when you're doing stage, it's not really a thing that comes up. This is my first film, so I guess we'll find out now.
right. And the response has been what you have been reading up on the reviews and the responses.
I think by and large people are liking it.
Right.
I know the reviews are a little bit mixed, which is okay.
Right.
But yeah, I feel by and large people are liking it. I've also been getting lots of calls and texts from friends from school and college who I've not spoken to in many years. My friends from theatre school texted me. One from Germany, one from Guatemala, having seen the film. So I think by and large people are liking it.
Right.
Mom and dad are getting lots of texts as well.
Right. You mentioned Guatemala. So one of the things that I saw was that Maharaj is in the top 10 of non-English films you expect this to happen in the Asian countries, but this was in Luxembourg.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's something really interesting, because it's like, what could have resonated about this film? And you can never say which movie plays where, right? But,
Yeah.
so I was that seemed like a very interesting nugget of information about this. You following all that?
I mean, I've been getting the updates from Netflix and all. That was a bit.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I never thought about that so much.
Is the pressure less when you do an OTT film because you don't have to worry about box office numbers? Is that one thing less that I know there's other things to worry about, like you still have to prove yourself, give a good performance, all that is still there, but at least that one thing is not something on your mind right then. Is that true?
I don't know. Maharaj was going to be an OTT film now for a while, but at when we were shooting it, it wasn't like it's an OTT film.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it was. We shot it about 2021.
Okay.
About 3 years ago. I think it was one of the first things Yashraj did after the pandemic. So we shot it 2021 from February to about August. We would have finished in May, but then there was a second lockdown, so we had to stop and then resume. So it was made some time ago.
Yeah.
And since then, we've been waiting. I don't think that was something that I was thinking about.
Okay.
I think eventually it was just like, as long as it comes out, people should see it.
Right. Is there a difference between acting in a play and acting in a movie? What is it?
There are lots of differences. I found a few. One was, projection of voice is different. In film, on stage, even if you're in an intimate scene where you still have to reach the last row. In film, sometimes it's the opposite. It can be a very yelly, screamy scene, but if the camera is very close to you, then it will look odd if you are projecting really.
Right.
So that was one. I found maintaining focus on a film set to be very difficult.
Okay.
Because in a play, once the play starts, there's a certain rhythm to it, which you've rehearsed and you've done runs. And once it starts, it follows in that rhythm by and large. Every show is different, but it's following along in that same rhythm. If you have 5 minutes between scenes, you have exactly those 5 minutes every single time. You have your set routine of a warm-up, like a group thing before the play starts, your first bell, second bell, third bell, and then it goes. On a film set, it's mostly just chaos. And then all of a sudden, everybody's quiet, and the director shouts action, and then you're like, oh, wait, that's me. So that was something that took some getting used to. As stage actors, we tend to always open out to the camera, because on stage you open out to the audience. It kind of becomes slightly inherent, where you just play everything at an angle opened out to, which you don't really need to do in film. So sometimes that can look a bit odd.
Right.
So things like that. Lots of small things that I think need some getting used to. Lighting tends to be more broad on stage, so you don't have to hit exact marks. You have to be, by and large, in the area. But certain things help as well, like you learn how to feel light. So if you're not in light, you know you're not in light. So yeah, there are lots of things, I guess.
Right.
But small things. By and large, the fundamentals are the same.
So, when now you've come from stage, your co-star Junaid Khan, he's FTII.
Yeah.
He kind of was largely trained for film, like in large sense of the word. So when and there are many people who don't do theatre and come to film, and they pretty much pick up the thing.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
does stage acting? How does it help? In a sense, is it losing inhibitions? How does it help a film actor?
I think at the end of the day, it's a craft and it's all about practice. The more you do it, which medium you do,
is it a
do
different
is-
craft though? Is what I'm trying.
No, I don't think it's a different craft. There's certain technical differences that you get used to, but I don't think it's the same craft. It's a matter of a little bit of practice, and then you can. I think you can by and large fit in either way. I think some film actors would be fantastic on stage,
Right.
as well.
Where the stage is huge, like in the US and the UK and all that, theatre actors are very respected on their own, simply because you enter and then you have to perform for 3 hours or 2 hours at a stretch. You can't. It's not cut up into little bits. Which is not to say that this is easy or something like that, but that's a very separate, a different kind of immersion and involvement. How did you find keeping your attention or maintaining continuity in a setup where every scene is broken up into shots and different kinds of things?
Actually, in my experience, most of that work is done by other people, like your directors. They're guiding you. You have a continuity supervisor. So, yeah, I think most of that, in my experience at least, that most of that work has been done by
The other people.
other people. I mean, obviously, you have a sense, you know the entire film, and you have a sense of the story and where it's going. But I think the specifics are
More true.
done for you.
So when you saw Maharaj, can you tell me one thing that you liked about yourself and one thing that you said, okay, this is something that I need to work on?
Oh, lots of things. Well, I was looking very good in the film, I felt.
Are you conscious about the way you look? Is that
Not particularly, but I think Adi sir was very, very insistent that I lose a tremendous amount of weight for that part. So that was definitely one good thing. Maybe something to get back to at some point in life.
right?
Lots of things were not great. I tend to be big and awkward. That shows in some scenes. The dancing was, well,
There was just one.
there
I
was
guess.
just one.
Yeah.
And I think Vaibhavi ma'am did a fantastic job. Shooting it, cutting it, all of that.
Right. And I think the focus was more on
Was more on Shalini, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
yeah.
But yeah, lots of small things. I think when you look back, you're like,
Right. I mean, one thing that I was wondering was, how did you feel, because the film is a mix of Hindi and Gujarati. How did you feel your dialogue delivery was?
I'm more or less comfortable in Hindi. Having said that, the Hindi is also a bit heightened. The dialogues are a
Yeah.
bit, heightened, I think would be the right word.
Yeah.
we had a lot of back and forth about exactly how much Gujarati should be in there. I had tried a little more as well. I think Adi sir was like, as a non-Gujarati, it shouldn't sound like a Gujarati speaking. Because I want this film to be wide.
Right.
And Sharvari already has the strong Gujarati accent. So, yeah, I think it took a bit of finding. Sneha Desai, who's the dialogue writer, herself a fantastic actor. The Gujarati stage helped a lot. I think it was finding that balance.
Right. Now, had this been released, now on OTT you get subtitles, right?
Yes.
So, had this been released theatrically, which was the original plan, right? That's what you said, right?
I mean, I didn't really ask about the plan. I mean, it had an interval in it. So I'm
Oh, it
guessing
had it.
was
Okay. Okay, because I was wondering, because there are many parts in India where, you know, the Gujarati dialogues might not have been understood very easily.
Yes.
So I was like, you know, did you have a backup, like a Hindi version shot, or you know, it was always this.
No, I mean, I think what the idea was, barring Sharvari's character, no character should sound Gujarati to a non-Gujarati.
Right.
I think that, at least that was the brief I got.
Right. Right.
So the Gujarati is very slight. Did you find it heavy?
Not that heavy, but there are stretches where, you know, like there may be 2-3 lines in Gujarati.
Some dialogue is in
dialogue
Gujarati,
is in
yes.
Gujarati. Yeah, so those are the parts where I was like,
Yeah, there's some dialogue is
I
in
needed the subtitles for those. Yeah, yeah. So that's what I was asking about. So yeah,
No, there I think it is, that was as is.
as is. Yeah. Now you have a couple of projects lined up with Sai Pallavi, of which nothing has been spoken about. You cannot speak about that project right now.
I mean, yeah, ideally my producers have not announced it, so.
Right, right. And the other one is Khushi Kapoor is a remake of this Tamil film called Love Today.
Yes. with
Have you seen
Phantom.
the film?
Yes, I have.
Right. What was it that you liked about it?
Again, my producers have not announced it. I really shouldn't. I really shouldn't talk about it. I found the project exciting. I thought it would be a challenge for me.
Okay.
I thought the part would be a challenge for me, but yeah, I think I should keep it at that.
Keep it at that. Okay. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
I'm glad that Maharaj is doing well, and all the best for your future
Fingers
projects.
crossed. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm also on stage actually September 1st at the NCPA Experimental Theatre.
Okay.
In Bombay.
Right. Doing what?
A play called Strictly Unconventional. We opened it 2022.
Okay.
So yeah, we have 2 shows on 1st September.
Wow, this is a little unusual because with the exception of, you know, stalwarts like Nasiruddin Shah and all, you don't usually find people going back to the stage immediately, like young actors I'm talking about, you know. This is like people like Paresh Rawal, Nasiruddin Shah, yeah, you do find that, but that's a different generation. But I also think maybe this.
No, I think there are a lot of actors who continue to do stage and film work. No, like Jim Saab continues to do both. Kalki continues to do both. At least on the Bombay stage, at
Right.
least the English theatre scene. Bunch of them. I did a play with Neil Bhupalam a few years ago, who's also, fairly young.
Yeah.
And who continue to do both. So I think at least, yeah, there are. Even Gujarati theatre in Bombay is fairly,
It's huge, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Sharman continues to do both. But yeah, I think there are actors who still do stage and film.
Right. You know, right now everybody is talking about, you know, this certain uncertain place that film is in right now, because, you know, earlier there was a certain formula that could be followed, and at least 75% of the time, people kind of knew that if you put a certain star in a certain something, that would kind of, you know, like do well. Now there seems to be almost everyone that I talk to seems to be very uncertain about what's. There's no confidence, is what I'm trying to say. Have you sensed that in the?
I don't know. Personally, I feel like a good story is a good story. It'll find its audience. you do well, it'll be appreciated. I think the business of it is obviously changing
Right.
after the pandemic. But I think there are people who know about the business far better than I, who would probably have better insight on that.
Right.
I mean, I'm just enjoying my work.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
GT Holidays, South India's #1 travel brand.
Sheen Lac Specialty Coatings. Always shining. Sheen Lac.
Govi, a vernacular edutech brand, skilling everyone everywhere.